Alright, I know it's been a while since I've posted a video here on YouTube about pro wrestling and all that. I've been very busy for the past 2 months. I made it very clear in my community tab, which, if any of y'all who watch my videos and don't look at my community tab, I highly advise you should, because that's where I post all the things for DWE and for just anything else that's not like wrestling related content. Like if I'm posting a thing about my personal life, make sure you go on there to make sure you check it. But obviously, 2 months ago, I got a job, and just been trying to provide for myself and my family. It's nothing like really like deep or anything. It's just me trying to get a living because I'm 20 years old and trying to find ways to survive in this world. But let's get to the main topic, which of course is why y'all are watching this video. So last week on TikTok, I went complete ape shit for many days and posted multiple videos about why I didn't like Gunther winning back the World Heavyweight Championship. And I love Gunther, don't get me wrong, but his last World Heavyweight Championship run was one of the worst I had seen in a long time, mostly because every single time when he went out there, he was disrespected. Literally. Like sure, the first part of his run when he beat Randy Orton looked promising, but then after Randy, it was dead to the water. Had a very forgettable feud against Sami Zayn. He had a feud against Damian Priest, which hurt him so much because every single week he would look like a bum, either getting destroyed by Damian on the microphone or Damian always getting the advantage of him every single time. And what was even worse with the whole thing with him not being able to really get the advantage over Damian is that he didn't even beat him clean at Survivor Series. He needed Finn Balor to help beat him to retain his title. And then Finn Balor got added to the mix, which also did nothing for Gunther. And then the whole thing with Jey Uso kind of did more damage to him when he tapped out at WrestleMania, and they didn't have an actual proper feud until 2 weeks before Mania. But I think the whole issue with Gunther's world title reign is not even just the fact that he faced those set people, it's the fact that he was put in a corner where he was the world champion in a company where you had multiple storylines going on that completely overshadowed him as champion. Like, just look at this. Your main storyline when he won the world title was CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. You had Damian versus Finn Balor, and you also had Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. You had main storylines going on Raw that overtook everything Gunther did as world champion. Even on SmackDown side, you had the best of 7 series with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. You had Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline, or Cody versus Kevin Owens, or even the OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. Like, all these stories that took place overshadowed Gunther's reign as world champion. There were even moments where I forgot he was even champion. Oh, I even forgot this too. When he lost to Cody Rhodes, the Crown Jewel, for the Crown Jewel Championship, despite the fact that championship doesn't mean anything, him losing to Cody didn't do any search for him either. He should have beaten Cody, but no. They gave the championship to the top guy in the company, and he made the World Heavyweight Champion look like a complete joke. But what was even worse with all this is that even when he lost the world title, he had to beat Pat McAfee of all people just to get a rematch for that World Heavyweight Championship. That is insane. That's crazy. And look, I know a lot of people have their thoughts on Jey Uso, and I know a lot of people want to say he's one of the worst world champions of all time. But I honestly enjoyed his run a lot more in 51 days because Jey was charismatic. Jey was at least able to pop up on TV every single week and at least do something. I cannot try and think of anything else Gunther did with that belt when he wasn't feuding with those set guys. And again, the people he faced was Damian, Finn, Randy, Sami Zayn, and Jey. No AJ Styles, no CM Punk, no Seth Rollins, no Ilya Dragunov. He couldn't even face Ilya Dragunov because he had the torn ACL. He didn't face those set people that people kept fantasy booking about when he won the world title. Because do you want to know how many people went crazy when Gunther won that world title? People are like, oh my god, we're getting the rematch between Gunther and Ilya Dragunov from years ago. It's going to go crazy. People had that exact same thought. And the people thought that Ilya Dragunov was going to return the King of the Ring tournament. But instead, they had Jey Uso be a part of it. And he just won his qualifying match. And he's going to face Cody Rhodes next week on Raw. But speaking of what happened on Raw tonight, I was complaining for the entire week because I was warning people that Goldberg was going to make his return and he was going to have a stare down with Gunther and challenge him at Saturday night's main event in his hometown for one last match for that World Heavyweight Championship. What I was basically saying to these people was that they're sacrificing Jey Uso, the most overstar in the entire company right now, for a old up, washed up bastard who was in his 50s, who has legit stated that he is banged up, can't move, and can't do anything. They literally put that man in this position, and they are literally hurting Jey Uso more than actually helping out Gunther or Goldberg. Majority of the time, Goldberg's in there just to try and for a payday. But for Gunther, he's the world champion for fuck's sake. He should be getting more justice, but he's actually getting even more disjustice than Jey Uso is right now. And he just lost his world title, and he's still over, and he's in the King of the Ring tournament, while Gunther has been put in a position to face a guy that is most likely going to give him the worst match of his entire career. And the fact that I went online literally the same day Jey lost the world title, and I see so many people saying we are saved, the championship is saved, WWE is in a much better place, actually confuses me. Because these people are blind as hell and they have no idea what they're expecting. But it's understandable because these people criticize Jey Uso. And look, I understand Jey is not the best singles wrestler. I get that. But we've seen a bunch of people in WWE be pushed to main eventers even if they aren't the best wrestlers. Like, for example, Hulk Hogan, you could really relate, was just a catchphrase. He was taunting and all that. But he got over because of his character work, his charisma, and all that. Ultimate Warrior, he couldn't wrestle. And he got the big opportunities. They gave him the opportunity, Jey Uso, because of how over he is. But like I said previously, they really are sacrificing Jey Uso for this. They want their big marquee match to try and compete with AEW All In, even though it's very clear people are going to watch AEW All In over this piece of shit. Because that's the biggest show of the year for AEW. That is their most important show. And the best way WWE can counteract that show is having Gunther versus Goldberg. You really think that's going to try and top it, did you? You really thought? Not even close. Not even close at all. And again, the fact that I now go online and I see people now complaining about this decision, honestly, no, y'all should have kept that beef in the other corner. Y'all should have kept it. Y'all should have kept that beef literally before Gunther even was winning the world championship, because y'all should have known this was going to happen. Y'all should have known that the moment Gunther won the world title, Goldberg was going to come out the next week and confront him. Y'all should have known this. But I warned everybody. I warned every single person on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. I warned everybody. And they didn't want to listen. They said Gunther's too good. Jey sucks. He shouldn't be world champion. He should be back in the tag division. But they aren't seeing things clear. They aren't opening their eyes and realizing that Gunther is in a worse position right now as world champion. Because his first defense is against a guy who can't wrestle, can't move, can't do anything. And literally, I have to watch and see these stupid people on the internet say all this and praise Jey Uso losing the title and now complain that Goldberg is back for one match. Again, y'all should have kept it in the other corner because I was warning y'all. And now y'all have to deal with this. I didn't want him to come to this. I really didn't. Really didn't. But it seems like people need a reality check these days. It seems like they really do. Because we are really getting this match in 2025. What could potentially be the worst match of the entire year. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be the worst match of the year. WWE, you really thought this was good, didn't you? Best for business, right? Well, just letting you know, when that bell rings, it'll come back to bite you in the ass.